Speaking of games are underway at the high school level. CountySports.zone is how you find out everything you need to know about high school football this season. Scores, schedules, rankings, news updates. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer or buyatoyota.com. And the other option, if you want to know about anything going on in high school sports in Maryland, would be to just pick up and call this man. You know him from WBAL. He's getting ready for the Ravens broadcast team for tomorrow night, as he will be with you, I believe, starting at 3 o'clock ahead of Ravens Commanders on WBAL and 98 Rock. He is our buddy Keith Mills, and he is back with us now here on GCR. Millsy, what's up, pal? How are you?
Glenn, how are you, buddy? Good
Great,
talking to you.
man.
Just saw you about an hour
Yeah,
ago.
right. Pulling double duty today. But by the way,
yes, you were, and did a great job.
When Keith Mills, I joke about how, like, on opening day, I was just holding the camera to take everybody's pictures with Keith Mills when they came over to see it. Stop it. That's true. The crazy part is it's the exact same way even at his place of employment. Like, when Keith Mills shows up at the office at WBAL, the staff of WBAL 98 Rock just line up in the hallway to come over.
Come on.
That's not. You know I'm not kidding. You know I'm not kidding about that, Mills.
That's because I just love seeing those guys.
We love seeing you.
I have to seek them out now.
We love seeing you. All right, let's.
Hey, but I've never been to the Serengeti, man. And while you were there with your family, I lived vicariously through you. I was
so
showing
cool.
pictures to my family of everything you posted. That's the coolest thing,
so
brother,
cool.
that I think I've ever seen.
Mills, you know, because we talked about it right before I left, that I was like, I don't know how I feel. Like, this was not it's the greatest thing I've ever done besides getting married and having kids. Like, obviously but of separating that, the coolest experience I've ever had in my entire life. Just impossible how cool that was.
Very cool to hear. The pictures were fantastic.
Oh, man, it was so special. All right, Millsy, let's start with the Ravens because you are getting ready for the broadcast tomorrow night. What is still to you to be determined? Because I know this is what you guys are going to be talking about when you're doing pregame. What to you is still at stake between now and when the Ravens have to have the roster set this weekend?
Offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. That's my concern. Obviously, the final roster spots will be some members of the rookie class, undrafted free agents like Ethan Burke, who's really had a great summer with the team, both in practice and in the games. Joe Fagnano, who's really been very impressive as the third quarterback right now. Will he be on the roster? If he's on the practice squad, will he be able to stay on the practice squad? Will someone, another team, pick him up? As the same with Ethan Burke. A lot of young guys fighting for jobs, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Tomorrow's big game for this Super Bowl for those guys. But that, to me, right now, the number one issue with the team is the offensive line.
Tell me, Keith, it's difficult for me. I think that they're going to be okay. I trust the pieces to think that they're going to be okay. Obviously, they still have to decide who's going to be the starter at center. I am not. I don't think I'm panicked about it. But, like, what we saw in Minnesota last week, even Ioane getting a penalty, you're like, what the hell? Like, I didn't know he was allowed to. I thought we had a rule against that.
Perfect. Wasn't he perfect?
he had gone, like, perfect through the last two seasons as starter at Penn State, not a single holding penalty. Not one. So he's already ruined. Maybe get out of the way in the preseason. If you're going to end the streak, end it now, I guess is the way to say it. But is your concern level the 5 starters? Is it the depth on the offensive line? Like, what is the specific concern to you about the line?
I think it's the depth at tackle right now. If Ronnie Stanley or Roger Rosengard go down, I'm not so sure there is a backup right now. That Carson Vincent, a draft pick last year, struggled a little bit in preseason. He right now looked like he's the third tackle. Yeah. John Simpson, of course, is a veteran they brought in to shore up that left guard spot. So Andrew Voorhees is the backup. He's got some tread on the tires. Ioane is still a rookie. We'll see how he holds up. From all accounts, he's a really good rookie, but he's still a rookie. In that center position, I was really, really happy when they signed Ethan Burke. Ethan Posick.
Yeah.
And I think as every time you see him, he looks like he's getting better and more acclimated with the offense. I actually think down the road he might be the starter. I think week 1 it's going to be Javon Gwynn, who has a lot of history with Dwayne Ledford, the new offensive tackle. So to answer your question, like kind of all of the above, until they really mesh, and we haven't seen that in the 2 scrimmages yet with the Vikings. I think that's a question that's going to be answered during the season. If they get a solid offensive line play, and Lamar stays healthy, look out. To be honest with you, with Derrick Henry back there and a healthy Zay Flowers and a good crop of young tight ends, I think they've got a lot of promise.
Millsy, I'm worried because I don't want to be the downer. I don't want to be that guy. I have not understood this team's hubris, their bullishness related to their kicker. I have not, which is not, as I said before, it's not me saying I think they should have just walked in and cut him the morning after the miss in Pittsburgh. And my concerns about him really aren't even just specifically about that miss. It's that he wasn't really good in the kickoff game a year ago, and he didn't make long kicks, which is what you've got to do to be an NFL kicker. And they didn't even try some of the longer kicks because they seemed to have less trust in him. But then they never brought in even like a UFL kicker, someone that to stack the deck to try to push him, to say, hey, you are better than this guy. We just want this guy to come in and, get your juices flowing a little bit. Feel that pressure. The pressure seemed to get to you in a big moment a year ago. It's not even like cut him, sign somebody else. I've just been so confused, and I don't want to overreact to him missing a kick 2 weeks ago or missing a 41-yarder in practice yesterday. And to be fair, he went and made his kicks in Minnesota last week. But I am very nervous about this going into the season, Keith.
I totally agree with you. I was very surprised that they did not bring in another kicker. I'm sure they know. I'm sure every GM in the league has a board that's got multiple players in every position. I'm sure they've got some kickers that they've got their eye on if something happens to Luke. But I'm with you. I mean, if you listen, Lamar's getting a lot of criticism for actually last year against the Steelers for, putting the ball in the right hash mark and not leaving in the center of the field or moving to the left hash mark. And if you can't make a 42-3-yard field goal from, I don't care what hash mark it is or wherever it is, on the moon, you can't kick in the NFL. He missed one from 41 yesterday. And I'm with you, man. You got college kids. You got some high school kids now that make 50-plus yard field goals. So Harrison Butker made a 69-yarder last week. So those days of saying that 50-yarders aren't normal or aren't routine are over, if you ask me, because everybody's doing it. I'm with you. I think that is not a major concern, but something certainly to keep your eye on. And yes, I agree that they should have brought somebody in.
I think the question now, because, obviously it's too late for that at this point, but, I think the question for me is how much of a leash can you give Tyler Loop? Clearly, they're bullish about him for a reason, right? They're not just doing this to spite all of us. They're doing this because they believe in him, but how far can you go with that? Is it, you miss a 47-yarder, then you're gone? I don't know what their thought process can be going into the season with a really unproven kicker.
Well, if he's putting your offense, or if he's putting a win in jeopardy by missing a kick early, and certainly and if he's losing a game by missing one late, not him personally losing it, but if they lose a game, then that's a major problem.
Yeah.
I don't think your leash is long at all, to be honest with you. They missed out by the playoffs of one game last year. So if you lose a game, week 2, 3, or 4. Because of a missed 45, 50, or 45, 48-yard field goal, that to me is a major problem. And that leash can't be long, to be honest with you.
I agree. All right, let's talk about a positive before I move on from the Ravens.
Yeah.
Jacoby Lane, obviously he's just been awesome all camp long, and seems incredibly likable every time we hear from him. It's just so easy to embrace this young man. How do we have a reasonable conversation about what expectation? He's still a rookie. He's still a third-round pick. I do worry a little bit that the fans get so caught up that if in the first game he doesn't get the ball thrown his way 7 times, they're like, oh, what the What does Declan Doyle know about offense? He's not throwing the ball to Jacoby Lane. Like I'm excited about him. I don't want anyone to not be excited about him. I just don't know how to talk about it reasonably.
Oh, I agree with you. Rein in the expectations because most of the success he's had, a majority of it is against backup players.
Yeah.
That we've seen in preseason and even in practice a lot. Now he's got a great skill set, and I think down the road he's going to be a really, really good player. But I think we need to limit the expectations going into this season for two reasons. One, again, he's going to be going up against some elite defensive backs in the league, and two, the Ravens have Zay Flowers. Rashad Bateman's had a strong day yesterday, has played well. Now we'll see what's going on with his legal issues, but and you still have a tight end core that has always been a target for Lamar Jackson. He's always felt comfortable with Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely was one of his favorite targets. You got a couple young kids that have proven they can catch the ball. I think the limits on Jacoby Lane are going to be handled by the coaching staff. I don't think it's going to be basically by Derrick Henry's going to want the ball 20, 23 times. How many footballs we got out there, brother?
Yeah,
everybody wants them. Zay's going to get his 7 or 8, you hope.
No doubt. Right?
Bateman's going to get 3 or 4. So how many's left? To be honest with you.
That's a great point.
But I love what I see. Love what I see from the guy. Very humble, works his butt off, great hands, runs routes well. So I think his limit is endless, to be honest with you.
Millsy, I am worried about what we've seen from Kyle Bradish in August, and I think we talked about it a month ago, where this was always coming with this thing. I know we all want to believe that everybody can be Jim Palmer and everybody can just throw. I mean, Palmer could throw both ends of a doubleheader and then pitch the next day. Like I understand that we miss those days, but the reality of modern baseball is it just doesn't work that way. And for a guy to go from throwing 30 innings the last 2 years, I think we all kind of knew this was probably going to be coming. I'm not trying to bury him or say it's over, but I'm just very nervous about someone who has had to ramp the innings up so much this year and now seems to kind of be hitting a wall a little bit in August.
Yeah, I do not disagree with you at all. Watched him closely last couple of weeks. Last night, I mean, I was surprised that he was not removed earlier, to be honest with you, with the big lead and whatever. But, yeah, I totally agree with that. I've talked to some people around here that it'll be interesting to see what happens in late August and September with the innings, with the number of innings. It's ironic that when he's on the mound, they give him some runs. Shane Baz, who I think right now is their best starter, man. He has been lights out. We were at the Sunday game, felt sorry for him out there because he pitched really, really well, and it has for the last month and a half. So to answer your question, I think if they had, and thank God Brandon Young has stepped up, that they had another starter on the staff or down in Norfolk that they could bring up, they could maybe go to a 6-man, but I don't see it. I think he's got to be really careful with Kyle from here on out in terms of trying to stretch him out. I understand the desire to want to do it to save the bullpen.
Yep.
And when he's throwing well, like as well as he was earlier in the game last night, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt. But man, your margin of error is drastically reduced going into September, and it's going to. You bring up a great point. Will be interesting to watch how they deal with his innings.
Tell me about because we were talking about it earlier today. Obviously, you can't take Christian Encarnacion Strand out of the lineup.
No way.
Is it just when Blaze Alexander comes back, you're sticking him in right field and saying, we'll figure out, we'll split Taveras and Cowser maybe in center after that? Like you want Blaze Alexander back in the lineup clearly because he was hitting the cover off the ball, but I just there's no way you can be sitting Christian Encarnacion Strand right now.
No. Well, with O'Neill on the DL, that helps a little bit. But I'm with you. Right now, you're playing your best. You're playing your hottest, best players, and he is certainly one of them offensively. Jackson Holliday's given him a big boost offensively. He's still a little inconsistent, but he's playing much better offensively anyway. So yes, to answer your question, bring Blaze back, and you got another solid big league player who knows how to play. So that can't hurt at all. So to answer your question, an emphatic yes, he's in the lineup every day for me.
And we should mention before we let you go, we're just 9 days away from Navy football, right?
Oh yeah, man, you talk about a lot of, and it's external optimism and expectations.
Well,
Man,
I think it's
these
been
guys
it's
are getting a lot
deserved.
of love.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
deserved.
it is. It is. They've really done a good job. Brian Newberry and his staff, and you and I both love Ken Niumatalolo,
Yep.
and he's out at San Jose doing a good job. Brian, his staff, and Glenn, you know this well. The portal and the NIL situation has drastically helped the three service academies. They're getting better high school players now to come in. And what Navy has done with these young kids they've got the last couple of years in their developmental program has been nothing short of extraordinary. They've got some of the best young plebes and sophomores that you'll see on the field in a couple of weeks than I've ever seen, physically and their skill level. Man, it is really impressive.
Well, and the guys are bought in, and they know each other. Griffin and I were down at Maryland yesterday, and it's like you got to figure out ways for these guys to get to know each other because they're just showing up, right? Like he just arrived, and now he's got to be the veteran leader of the group. And
right.
Navy,
Memphis has 75 new players.
That's insane.
75.
That is insane.
You keep what, 90?
and obviously they're dealing with it's a coaching change on top of everything that adds to it. But
exactly. Well, there's so many coaching changes in that conference because it's a stepping stone.
They just get rated.
Boys. But here at Navy, that's not. They don't lose coaches, and they rarely lose players. And you got Eli Heidenreich, Landon Robinson. Looks like they're going to make the Steelers and the Bengals. Alex Teska was just signed by the Steelers again the other day. So. And Rayon Lane, a Navy alum 2 years ago, is starting at Jacksonville in the secondary. So they've done a really good job, as you well know. And, man, let me tell you something. They love the fact that you really are interested in Navy down there. So thank you for what you do for
By
them.
the way, I think the entire country should be interested because what we're alluding to is they legitimately have a chance to be in the college football playoff. That's not us puffing smoke. They have a real chance to be in the college football playoff this year. That is.
They do. They got a lot of returnees, and they've got they do lose a lot of production that they got to replace, but it'll be fun to watch.
That'll be next Saturday, and Mills will be a part of that as well. But tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock, Ravens game day, getting you ready for Ravens Commanders on BAL and 98 Rock. Keith, love you, brother. Always appreciate you.
You too, bud.
Talk soon.
Great job as always, partner. Talk to you soon.
Keith Mills with us here on GCR. Appreciate him doing that.